living, just taking this moment for yourself. Whatever your worries are, your deadlines, your pressures, your whatever, the demands of life can all be there for 5 minutes. Surely, for 5 minutes, take this moment to yourself. Just sit there with your food. No phone, phone away, distractions away. This is Katie Gordon, and you're listening to the Wait is Over podcast. Welcome, health and freedom seekers. Sit back and relax as you come on this journey of overcoming obstacles so you can lose weight, gain health, and live the life you've been looking for. Hello, listeners, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Katie Gordon, and the wait is over with Dietless Living 360 degrees. There's no recipes, food regimes, or exercise programs to follow. This is simply about how to take your life back, how to take control, because we all have a voice and we want to be heard. We want to forget about dieting, focus on living, and lose weight. But to do that, we need to create a new mindset, a mindset that gets us over the obstacles and challenges of life and our own unconscious programs, because that's really what's impacting on our weight and health and causing habit relapse. And the purpose of this podcast is to share with you what I learned from 25 years in dieting hell and spending over $100,000 working out how to step into dietless living. And today we're talking about connecting with food, with our food, with the food that we're going to eat. Because in a world of fast food, home delivery, and pre-made everything, it's time to really start rebuilding our relationship with food. Instead of just buying something that, a pre-made meal, shoving it into a microwave and eating it while scrolling mindlessly on our phone, we need to take some time and actually connect with the food, because this is part of actually really creating sustainable weight loss. Because we can buy all this pre-made food, we can buy it either from a reputable dealer, one of the weight loss biggies, or we can just buy it from our local grocery store. But if we're not learning about food, if we're not reconnecting with our food, then we're always going to be stuck in the same habits that we have. And the actual thing that we need to do is to break free of those habits, which means we need to start spending our time differently, which means we need to start thinking about how to create time in our life so that we can come back to preparing our food and building a connection with our food, building a relationship. Because when we take a little bit of time to prepare our food, we're at the same time preparing our bodies for that food, which means we're starting to get our digestive juices happening, we're engaging with ourselves, we're coming back to present moment, and that's all required really for ongoing sustainable weight loss. And it's really now starting to think about it as food foreplay, right? Because this is the same. Food and sex are the same thing. It's the warm up, it's the expectation and the anticipation of the having, it's the building of desire that prepares your body for the event. And so food foreplay is really about taking the time to choose your ingredients from the fresh produce department of your local store, or maybe you go to a local market if you're lucky to have one near you. But it's about selecting your ingredients. This one smells good, this one's ripe, this one's ready to eat, oh, that one looks lovely. That's really the beginning of food foreplay, right? And just buy what you need. Don't over purchase, because when we shove it in the crisper, it goes off. It gives us a hard time because we feel this pressure to use these ingredients that we purchased. So just think about in advance what you want and then purchase the things that you need. So just cook old-fashioned style on the stovetop. I know it seems so out of date, right, to use a stovetop and not a microwave. But instead of purchasing your pre-made meal or whatever it is that you've made a meal at home and then you're going to reheat it for lunch or for dinner, instead of just shoving it in a microwave and shutting the door, pressing some buttons, it's about putting it on the stove, putting it into a saucepan, stirring it, being connected to it. Foodie foreplay, right? This is the touching and the connecting and the anticipation of your food. And so, think about that whole thing that happens when you do put something on the stovetop. You do stir, you do adjust, you do taste, you do sort of interact with your food and set the table. You want to have a placemat, a glass of water. Don't think about wine or anything, just a glass of water. That's all you need. You put in a nice glass if you have one. Use your best Waterford crystal if you happen to have some. It doesn't really matter. Just have a placemat, your knife and fork, some water. If you have other things that you like to put on the table, if you have flowers and candles and all of that, you can. It's not necessary, but have a place at the table. We spend so much time sitting on the couch eating our food and mindlessly eating our food because we're engaged in the TV. So back to the table. Foodie foreplay, remember, this is about connection with your food, warming up your body for the event. And as you place your food onto the plate from the stovetop, you're there, you've got your plate, you serve yourself your meal, you take it to the table, you're looking at it, you're caressing it with your eyes, you're enjoying your food before you've even consumed it. Sit at the table, take a moment just to really think about what you're going to eat. Give it your attention, the same as you would with any relationship. It needs your love, it needs your attention. You've got to just take that time. Inhale those aromas, close your eyes, think about it. This is how you really get all your gastric juices flowing, get your body relaxing, get your body ready for the moment. We're going to eat. We're going to eat. We're going to eat something that we've chosen to eat, because food really is a hedonic experience, which means we've chosen the food based on our emotional state at that time. So bring yourself back to center. Be present when you eat and just experience your emotional state that you're experiencing in that moment, whatever it is, and connect with your food because you've chosen that food for that reason. And, if you've ever gotten up from a meal and wanted something sweet afterwards, that's really because your brain just simply didn't register what you ate because you ate it so mindlessly. And that's what we do. I for always was having a big meal and then I'd get up and go, well, what else can I have? What have I got that is sweet? And I really used to think that was just habit, but it really isn't so much habit as I've just hoovered my meal whilst watching TV. I've paid no attention to it. I've not tasted it and experienced the food. I have just taken all of 5 seconds to eat it instead of maybe 15 minutes. And then when I get up, my brain is still going, I haven't really experienced something. And I know if I have sugar, I'll experience sugar. So please take your time to eat and understand that if you're wanting something else after, you either haven't had a meal that was satisfying for you, or you've just not paid any attention to it at all. And, you don't have to be a gourmet cook or eat gourmet meals for this to be applicable. You can be this attentive with your food, even if you're having baked beans on toast or simply just your morning coffee. Take time to sit with yourself and enjoy. Foodie foreplay, right? This is what you want to be getting into. This is how you want to think of it, as oh, I'm going to have some foreplay with my food, because really food and sex are the same thing. It just, if you keep that in mind, you might start wanting to actually really build that relationship with your food. It's about connecting with food, because when you connect, you're connecting with yourself. If you're really enjoying life, you are connecting with yourself, which is a completely different perspective. Instead of eating for stress relief, you're consuming something for the pleasure of enjoying that moment. And don't microwave your food. Think of all those plastic particles that you're consuming. That's just so not good for our health. We're thinking about health and weight loss. And this is actually quite a big divide, because weight loss and health are not actually connected in the minds of most people. We go about weight loss in the most unhealthy ways. And buying a calorie-controlled, pre-made meal and shoving it in the microwave is about weight loss. It's not about health. Weight loss is about health. When you lose weight, you're gaining health, and that's what we're really after. So don't microwave your food. Take the time to put it on the stovetop. It takes the same amount of time. I don't use a microwave. I don't own a microwave. I haven't owned a microwave in over a decade. I cook on the stovetop in stainless steel pans, and it takes the same amount of time. I use a timer always, because that's one of the things people like about microwaves, is they can just shove it in, turn it on, walk away, and the microwave will stop at X amount of time. Well, you can do the same thing with the stovetop. Put your food on the stove, always on the low heat. Things take, it's that, building up of flavors and heat. It doesn't take any longer. It still takes 5 minutes to reheat something, as it takes 5 minutes to reheat it in a microwave. Pop a lid on it, low heat, set the timer, go off, do something else, preferably set your table and get yourself ready for your food. And then the timer goes off, then you go back. Everything is just as easy using the stovetop as it is the microwave. And, this is really the beginning of being present with your food, giving your mind and body time to relax and reconnect, and really dissipating stress in that moment. And that's really the key, is dissipating stress in that moment, coming back to self, reconnecting, just taking this moment for yourself. Whatever your worries are, your deadlines, your pressures, your whatever, the demands of life can all be there for 5 minutes. Surely, for 5 minutes, take this moment to yourself. Just sit there with your food. No phone, phone away, distractions away, because that's keeping your mind jammed in that survival mode. And you want to be over here in relaxation and anticipation. Remember, foodie foreplay. So just don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush to head off to the car. Don't be in a rush to head off to the train, or take the kids to school, or get to the couch to watch TV. Gosh, I remember when that was my number one objective in the evening, was to just get through the chores I had to do between getting home and relaxing on the couch, because in my mind, that was just my objective, just to be there at the couch on time to watch my favorite show. So take the time to relax and enjoy your food. If we want to lose weight, we have to create change. And that means we literally have to change the way that we do things, because we can't do things in the same way and expect a different result. Thank you for watching or listening today. If you want more help with this, please just book in for a private session, and let's just get it done this week, because life is for living, and an ounce of adjustment is always easier to implement than 20 pounds of change. It's time to enjoy the life you've been looking for.